Hi guys, welcome to ExamDebug. Chris McKenna here, and we're going to be continuing on our Python 3 tutorial stuff today. So we're going to be having a look today at the random module. So random is a way for us to generate random numbers or to get the computer to make random choices. But we'll talk about this in a bit more. It's not really random, but we'll come back and deal with that a bit later. The other thing we want to be thinking of are modules. So modules are kind of like pre-made programs that we can bring into our program to save us a whole bunch of time. So I mean, theoretically, you could write these yourselves, but someone else has made them for you, and they're readily available. So they're really helpful tools that we can take from other people. Again, this is not violating copyright. These are given away, and a lot of them come with Python ready. Others you'll have to download. We'll have a look at that in more detail in a little bit. But let's start with random itself. So to bring in any module, we start by typing import, followed by the name of the module we want to import. Now, in this case, we're going to bring in random. But there could be other things, like we could be bringing in, as we'll see not that far ahead, we'll be having a look at tkinter, which is one we use for making our graphical user interface. But today, let's stick with random. And that's just saying, go to the library and get that book out for me. Now, just as when you maybe go to a library, if young people here have ever been to a library, when people do go to libraries, they don't go and they don't take out every single book in the library. That's not a good idea. It's going to slow down your programs. It's going to make them too big and other things like this. And you want to avoid that. So you only take the books that you need. Okay, so we bring in the book we need. We bring in the module we need. And then from here, what we can do is we can use the chapters inside this module, or the methods inside this module, by saying the name of the module, random, followed by a full stop. Now, if you wait a moment with idle, you'll see that it shows you the options that are, available for this module. So the one that we're going to be using is randin, and that's probably the most common one. Now, it's a method, so what we do is we put the brackets after it. And again, we're really lucky with idle here. It gives us a nice hint on how to use it. But remember, the internet is your friend, and you can always go and look up and see how to use different modules. There's lots of documentation out there. So this one's saying, return a random integer in the range A to B, including both endpoints. So if I want a number between 1 and 10, then I just type that. So again, save and run, fingers crossed. Okay, so that kind of works. But of course, we need to output that number. We need to display it on the screen. And as we've seen many times, we can use print. Now, can I take this directly if I want to? Or I could have assigned it to a variable, but I'm lazy. I'm just going to copy and paste. So that's going to print a random number between 1 and 10. 3, okay. Now, if I run it again, 6. If I run it again, 7. So it's going to pick a random number between those points. Now this is super useful. Like I said maybe before, possibly. This is like, for example, in a computer game. You shoot your gun and it does damage between 1 and 70 points of damage to the other person. So that's exactly what's going on here. It's just generating a random number based on that point. So it's really good for making games. It's really good for just trying to create interesting situations and create other things in the game. But it's not actually random. So you've got to remember that computers do not like randomness in the sense of the real world randomness. this number 1 to 10 is coming from somewhere. For example, I don't know if this is how they do it today, but one way that they might get a random number is to go to our system clock and say, what's the current second? Now, whenever it happens to look, that's going to be a real-time number, but it's going to appear as random for the sake of our situation. So it's not really random. These numbers are coming from somewhere. There is some programming going on behind here, excuse me, going on behind here that is working with straight logic. Yeah, it's not picking numbers out of thin air. It's using some methodology, some algorithm to then select those random numbers. Okay, so that's one way we can use random. The other common way is if we have a list. Let's say, we'll just call it my friends. It's normally polite to do an underscore. Say, oops, we've got John and Tom. This should all be capital there, okay. And we've got Ian. Okay, so we can do it like this. Now, what we could do, of course, is we could use this generate a random number. Let's delete that for now. We could use a generate a random number to select them. For example, we could say print. Call to prayers in the background. Hope you don't not interfering with the sound. We'll see. Print random. No, sorry. My friends. Square bracket. And then the number we want to go in there is going to be random dot rand int. Again, we're starting at 0, so 0 to 2. Okay, so that's one way we could do that. Oops, what did I do? Oops, forgot to close my front bracket. Silly me. And my friend, what did I do? I'm not having a good day today. Okay, so we can do it like this. And so this is going to pick a random number, and then as we've seen before with a list, we can do like my friends 0 is going to print the first person on the list, my friends 1 is going to print the second person on the list, and so on. So we could do it like that, is one option. Hopefully we'll get a different person. Okay, so yeah, it does do different people. But one of the good things about random is we can use it in another way around, and we can do random.choice. And it's going to choose a random element from a list. So then all I have to do is take my friends here. And run it. And it's going to do exactly the same thing, but it's maybe in a much nicer, neater, tidy way than before. Because once you start doing like, I mean, I'm sure you've got the hang of this starting from 0 point, but once you kind of lose your way in that, it's sometimes hard to forget. Like if you're going to add numbers to the list, my choice is always going to be set with the list. So it's a nicer, safer way. You're never going to go outside the bounds of the list because of silly mathematics. So it really does help quite a bit. Okay, so that's what's going on there, and there's, like I said, there are other options inside random, but those are going to be your two major ones. Now, what I'd suggest you do, and I'm going to go through this in the next video anyway, but using what we've done so far, can you try and make a game of rock, paper, scissors? So that is, I don't know if you, I hope you know, I'm not giving the fingers, it's like 1, 2, 3, rock, other person's got scissors, rock beats scissors, paper beats. It could be something like that. It doesn't have to be exactly that. You can make up your own things with there's a Big Bang Theory one about Blizzard or something, Spock. Can't remember. But yeah, you can make it more complex if you like. You can use the different ideas, but try and have it using this random, using ifs and elses, and you can include whiles as well, and see if you can build up your own little game of rock paper scissors. Okay, so that for today was random. So we can get random numbers, we can get random choices, and we can bring in modules that are from outside of our program that are basically pre-made packages that we can use inside of our own stuff. I would just say as well, things like random comes with Python when you download it anyway. So you've already got a whole bunch of modules available to you, but there are other modules out there like Pygame and Django and tkinter. No, sorry, tkinter comes with it, like Django and Pygame, that you're going to have to go out and download and add to your library manually. But that's for a future time. For now, just play about with what we've got and try and make that count. Okay, so thanks for following along. Any questions or comments, post them below and I'll try and get back to you as soon as possible. Good luck.